What's up guys, Costa Garage here, and today I'm going to take the head gaskets and replace them off this engine that I pulled off this 06 WRX so that I can put them in that car. So I bought this car off auction for $2,000 so I could take this engine and put it into there, because getting that engine itself would take a lot of extra steps. So I decided to just take the engine off here, take the whole suspension and subframe, and try to see if I can put it in there. However, I've noticed there is a fair amount of oil deposits all around the engine, so that is a pretty good sign of a leaky gasket of some sort. So these engines are, well, not necessarily these ones, but these Boxster engines are known to have head gasket failures or other gaskets. So I was thinking I might as well, if it's not the head gasket, might as well replace it myself. This is my first time doing this myself, so hopefully I'll be able to pull this off. I've seen it done before. There's a lot of YouTube videos about it, so I'm going to see if someone with a little bit of very little mechanic experience can pull something off like this. So right now I'm going to change the gaskets, and I might actually end up changing some of the pulleys, because I've heard that some of the pulleys can go bad. So while I'm here, I might as well change them. So I might as well just do the basic maintenance so I don't have to do it later when it's already in that car. So I'll take care of it right now, and then I won't have to once it's already ready. So I went over to my nearby O'Reilly's and I bought some stuff. These I bought earlier. These are for washing up the engine. I bought some WD-40 for the nuts. I bought some brake cleaner. I bought 2 of them. And then I bought a engine degreaser. I bought some towels so I could clean it off. And I also had to buy this is for something else. I also had to buy a socket, because I didn't have a socket that could fit these. These I found that the 12-point socket, I believe it is, but the 14mm, that's what I saw. I might need to get a different one if it doesn't go correctly. But I also got this so that I can take the bolts out of the sockets when I'm done. And I bought a bolt replacement because the bolts stretch when you take them out of the engine, or when they're in the engine. So if they're not reusable, I'll have bolts on hand. And then this, I bought 2 sets because I might as well change both gaskets. But this I got at O'Reilly's. It was $200, and it's a gasket replacement. So this should be everything I need to change the gaskets on that engine. But we'll see, I might end up having to buy some extra stuff. Okay guys, it's been a little bit. I don't know if I said this before, but this video is not going to really be a how to do this. I'm just taking off what I can. I'm watching videos as I go. I just want to show you if you can do this. This is my first time doing this, so, well, by myself. First time doing this by myself. But I've taken everything that I know I need to take off, put everything together with its bolts, and put it on the ground. Now I just need to take off the covers and finish taking some other stuff off. But yeah, it's going to be difficult because there's a bolt over there that's hard to take off. And it's all as well on that side. But after we take the cover off, then hopefully I can find a way to take off these pulleys, and then I can take off the head and then take it to a machining shop. So that's what's next. A little bit of an update. I unbolted all these, so these are loose. However, there's this bolt down here that doesn't want to come out. Well, it's covered by this thing, so I can't get a ratchet in there. And I tried to use a regular wrench and it wasn't working, so I'm gonna have to find a way to take care of that. And these these don't want to, these spin, so I have to find a way to take them off. And I have a couple of ideas, but the first one, I bought one of these to hold it in place, and also these to hopefully put it on a torque wrench, not a torque wrench, a impact wrench, to try to get these off, because these are annoying. These are different than everything. And also, I had an issue with one of these, but this is how it is. I'm gonna have to take these off, and after I take those off, then I can finally get to the bolts. Those are the bolts I have to take off the head gasket. So now I'm just gonna try to see what I'm gonna do. So guys, a few more developments in the taking off the head gaskets is, as you can see, engine is kind of now on a lift because I can't get to that bolt down there without like taking it off the subframe. But it's already so far that I don't really want to do that. So I want to see if I can lift it up a little bit and take that one off. And I tried to use just like a regular wrench. Let me see. It's like a regular wrench like that, but it just started to strip. So either I'm going to have to do something creative, like weld another bolt to it, which I really don't want to do, or try to lift this up and hopefully get it to enough space so that I can put a ratcheting wrench on it. And if it starts to strip, then more creative solutions. But the main issue for this time, for the reason why it's like been taking me a long time, is these bolts. These are pains to take off. I ordered a special tool. Well, not this. This is the 10 millimeter and the breaker bar. But let me get down there. I ordered this special tool, and it took a while for me to get it. But basically, this goes on here and holds this down while I use the breaker bar. However, I need another person to help me take that one off. But my friend has a wrench, I guess, like an actual wrench for cars, which is more heavy duty than that thing that I've been using, but that's not been working. And he said it should take it off easily. So hopefully I'm going to be able to take those off without any problem, take the heads off, and then get them to a machining shop, because it's an extra $100, but most people say that your head gas is going to leak anyways without it. So I might as well do that. Also, I kind of forgot to mention one quick little thing. There are two things that I broke. This, which is the tensioner for one of the belts, and this. I don't know what this is called, and I'm going to need to reference my friend's engine because he has the same engine that he's working on. But this broke as I was trying to take it out, so I'm going to need to go to a junkyard to get another one of those, which kind of sucks, but on with the build. So at this point in the video, I ended up just stripping down the whole engine to the block. There wasn't anything special that I did. I just took off everything that I saw that was in the way until I could actually take off the heads. So if you want to reference another video, I'll put one in the description, as I might have said in the intro. Besides that, at this point, I ended up stripping everything and putting it on a table in approximately like the correct order, so that I would know where everything was, so I could put it all back together without having too many issues, which actually worked pretty well. I only have a few bolts left, which are to like the power steering pump and other things that I haven't put on. So this is the point where I have taken apart the whole engine. So it's been a while since I've done much with the engine, but as you can see, the gaskets, the heads are off, and here's everything that I have. It's all put here. It's quite a bit of stuff, and I don't remember half of it goes, so that's fun. So this is the bare head. Today I'm planning on just cleaning everything out and then checking what I want to do with the heads. I bought something to clean off the pistons and the valves, and then I just want to clean everything here so that it's not super dirty, because if you remember how it looked before, this is 100 times better, and I want to make it darn near perfect. So stay tuned for all that. So last night I did a little bit of cleaning. As you can see, there's almost no residue on either of these. Now I need to sand this down to clean them. I just used this. Well, I don't even know if it was really necessary. I could have probably used brake cleaner, but I don't know. And I use this to wipe it down, and a straight razor. I've lost my straight razor, but I use a straight razor to take off the giant chunks. But then for the sides over here, I'm using 600 grit sandpaper. At this point, I cleaned the engine about as much as I was going to, so I was getting it ready to put the heads on. I was just cleaning off the surface, and then I started to clean out the inside of the cylinders. And I used oil because I didn't want anything but oil inside of there. And there was a little bit of dust, so I had to crank it, as you can see. And I would just re-lubricate it and then wipe it off, re-lubricate it, wipe it off until there was no dirt inside of the cylinder. And so I put the heads on, and I put them in with, at first, with a drill. But I only put them in. I didn't actually like torque them or anything like that. I backed them out fully, and then I went back and I torqued them. I had to do the torque spec of actually putting the weight on the bolts, so I had to put them in a little further. Different engines have different torque specs, so check it for your own engine. And if you saw earlier, I was cleaning off one of the bolts, but also I had put a little bit of oil on each of the bolts because they were kind of creaking when they were going in. And I heard a tip that if you put a tiny bit of oil on the bolt, then they won't creak, and if they creak, then you're not supposed to put them in. So that's what I ended up doing, and it ended up working just fine. So I ended up torquing everything down to the right spec and installing everything. I ended up using some spray-on lubrication into the motor because I didn't have a way of putting oil in there. So I decided that that was just the next best thing. And if it was gonna dry out, then I'm gonna have the engine was sitting for a little bit anyways. So that should be fine. I actually ended up buying a new water pump because the pulleys themselves were like 40 bucks and the kit for the water pump was about 80. And for me to change all the pulleys would have cost just about as much as to just get the water pump itself. So I decided to change all the pulleys and the water pump while it was there. It was like a total of 80 bucks. So definitely well worth it while you're there. Like I was saying, I was just putting everything back like how I remembered it. I hadn't actually worked on the engine for about a week until I started putting it all back together because I had to take the heads to get resurfaced, and I had to do several like just different days where I was working on the engine because things would come up and I wouldn't be able to work on it just 100% throughout the day. So putting your engine back together, you could probably do it in about a day, but I did not have that liberty. So the whole process ended up taking me about 3 weeks because I took a lot of breaks in between everything. So yeah, I didn't really remember where most of the stuff went. The tubing, I would recommend you find schematics online. You can find how they put everything together because I definitely didn't remember where everything went, and it's just trying to match everything up. it's one of those dudes. Is it alive? Look at that. Look at that. Here's my finger for reference. That's nasty. As you can see, I have the engine behind me. It's covered because it is raining, and this has been a bit later than when I actually was doing the rebuilding. I actually did it like a month. I finished it like a month ago. So what I ended up doing is I ended up putting the engine back together as much as I could. I didn't put the power steering pump on or the alternator because I just wanted to get it running. So what I did is I ended up putting it in the old engine bay. I didn't get any videos of that, but I ended up putting in the old engine bay and cranking it. And then something went wrong with my fuel pump, and I checked and I would have had to take the whole thing apart. So I didn't want to do that just to see, I didn't want to have to completely fix the old WRX just to get the fuel pump working again. It could have been a fuse, but I'm not certain. I couldn't figure it out in the time being. So I ended up just taking it apart because I also needed to start cutting the frame from the WRX, and that's gonna be in a soon video. It's actually sitting on the frame right now. So I guess we're gonna have to wait till the Justy's done to see if there are any leaks or anything wrong with the car. So hopefully everything went well, but from what I can tell, everything went well. I put oil in it and I cranked it, and it seems like nothing is leaking, so that's a good sign. Yeah, but besides that, I basically did the whole overhaul on the WRX motor myself. I would say it was really annoying. It would have been nice to have more time to work on it. If I had like just 2-3 days to just straight work on it, I feel like I could have done it, minus the fact of getting the heads resurfaced. But like, I feel like it could have been a lot faster, and if it was done in a closed environment, that would have been a lot better. But now, because I've done it once, I know a little bit more, so I feel like I could do it again. But I would say it's very doable to do it by yourself. There were some times where I definitely thought of throwing in the towel and just giving it to someone, but yeah, I ended up going through, and now it's all done. I ended up spending about $500 on the entire thing because it was $300 for the gaskets. It was, I believe it was 60, or it was 60 each for the bolts, and then I also paid 80 for the water pump. So close to $500, whereas you would have paid a Subaru mechanic well over $2,000. So I would say that it was definitely worth the effort. If you have the extra time on your hands and you want to just do this as a side project, definitely worth it. But now I just need to work on getting it into the Justy to see if it actually works. So that'll be coming up. I haven't started saying this yet, but if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. I'm trying to post once a week. I want to try to be doing more projects like this, and the more people that subscribe, the more that I can actually get myself out there. And I want to be showing these crazy projects that not too many people do. I want to be doing more projects like this. I have a bunch of different projects in mind that I could do. Now it's kind of raining hard. Wow. So I have a bunch of other projects that I want to do like this. So the more support I get, the more I can actually do these projects. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.